So my name is Summer. I am a registered nurse with a history in neurology and specialty in rehabilitation for spinal cord injury. I am a vegan. I am a female bodybuilder. So I'm a vegan female bodybuilder. 3 words that aren't supposed to go together. So there might, at this point, be a plethora of ideas running through your head. There usually are. Bodybuilding, definition loosely, is picking up heavy things and putting them down repetitively. That's what I enjoy to do. Often, people have a lot of ideas about bodybuilding. And believe it or not, they more than often feel the need to share these ideas with me. For instance, people have asked me, why aren't you bigger? Because all weightlifters and bodybuilders look like this, right? Yes, that's a man. I've also been asked, why aren't you smaller? Because you're vegan. That's practically a word for starvation, right? Because everyone knows that protein comes from meat. I think sometimes people also think, maybe we should feed her. I get offered food all the time. Why is she always smiling? Vegans are self-righteous, angry people that throw red paint at fur, right? Well, maybe there are some of those, but I haven't met any. Some of the other things I've heard are, Summer, weightlifting isn't for women. Summer, don't get too big. Aren't you worried about getting too muscly? If women who lift weights look like a man, do men who lift weights look like women? I don't quite understand. But all of these ideas bring me to the meat of this presentation. And that is stereotypes. I've been a competitor most of my life, academically, physically. I love to compete. It's what I do, it's what I love. And throughout my life, one of the things that I find most common when I'm trying to achieve goals or when people I know are trying to achieve goals is there's always someone or someones, naysayers, people with ideas, reasons why I can't achieve what I want to aspire, reasons why someone else can't achieve it. And what I've all too often observed, unfortunately, is that people seem to adopt these ideas as truths. And sometimes they become their very own naysayers. But why? I've been asked what the difficult part of my hobby or lifestyle is. And I think people ask me because they think that being a vegan and weightlifting don't really go together. But the vegan part is easy. I think the most difficult part about my lifestyle is the stereotypes that I encounter, the ideas that people have about it being unhealthy, about veganism being unhealthy, and about bodybuilding being unhealthy for women in general. These are ideas that people adopt based on our environment, based on the media, based on our culture. For example, the meat industry generates $864.2 billion a year in the US. That's a lot of money. I would dare to say that that's enough money to produce advertisements for their products. And in these advertisements, they probably give some information about the benefits of eating meat, such as protein. On the flip side of that, let's look at the vegetable industry. Vegetables generate around $17.4 billion a year, which is significantly less. Everyone has heard beef, it's what's for dinner, and got milk. But have you ever heard of beets there what's for dinner? Or got broccoli? No, you have not. And it's because there's significantly more money in meat than there are in fruits and vegetables. Let's look at this from another angle. Think about your favorite action movie and your favorite female heroine in it. Is she muscular? Maybe she is. The chances are she's not. Hollywood tells us that it's all right to have brute strength, but it isn't okay as a woman to look like you have brute strength. There's even a popular gym that has advertisements currently that refers to bodybuilders as lunks, as non-intellectuals whose job is to grunt around the gym and intimidate. If we investigate the definition of stereotype, this is what we find. A widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. Let's think about that. Oversimplified image or idea. Why would we project a simplified idea on one another? We are, after all, each very unique. Growing up, I was fortunate enough to have two parents who taught me to live without ceilings. Not literal ceilings, we had ceilings, but to live outside of my boundaries, to push my bounds. They taught me to believe that there wasn't anything that I could not achieve, as long as I could accept the hard work that it takes to get there. My mother always taught me to use naysayers' comments as fuel for my engine to greatness, and to surround myself with people who believe in me. I carried that idea throughout my childhood, into my adulthood, and into my career. This belief came in handy when I worked at the University of Utah as a patient care coordinator on a neurology unit where I specialized in rehabilitation with patients who had just had been diagnosed with new spinal cord injuries. I got to see, and I continue to see people through my volunteer work, amazing people break down the walls of stereotypes with individuals with a physical disability. I was also fortunate enough to work with a team of individuals with like minds. The magic in this job wasn't just getting to see people who aspire and people who break down stereotypes every day, but also getting to look at that individual in the eye that just found out that they're paralyzed and let them know that they still can do anything. They can achieve everything they wanted to achieve before and more, and I knew that they could do it. Often this required pushing them past their own stereotypes. I continue to be inspired by these friends I've gained, which has made my own aspirations feel that more attainable. And I'd like to share some of my friends with you today. This is my dear friend Tyler on his bike. This was taken approximately a year ago. If you look closely, as he's going off this jump, you can see that his legs are strapped to the side of that motorcycle. This is my friend Tyler approximately 2 years before at the University of Utah while he was rehabilitating from a spinal cord injury in motocross that left him paralyzed from the waist down. Now, Tyler still rides motocross. He's currently engaged to be married, and he works full-time. This is my friend Dale, while he was at the University of Utah staying with us. Dale was in a wrestling accident his senior year in high school, the 2010-2011 year, that left him with an incomplete tetraplegic spinal cord injury, more widely known as quadriplegic. This is Dale today. Dale continues to rehabilitate, he's learning to use a walker, and he's attending college full-time. This is my friend Amanda, jumping out of a plane last year. The top photo in the blue Federal Department of New York is her doing her first 5K in 2012 on crutches. The one below is her last year competing in a Spartan event. This is Amanda receiving her trifecta Spartan medal. For those of you who aren't familiar, a trifecta medal is a medal that you receive after you've competed in all 3 Spartan events in 1 year. Amanda was the first woman with a disability in the world to receive this medal. She was bedridden for the better part of 2 years following 2 major car accidents in a 6-week period in 2009. The latter of those 2 accidents, she was a pedestrian hit by a car. These friends of mine not only believe in themselves, but surround themselves with people who believe in them. In 2009, I had a running injury during a marathon, and it was after this, because of my competitive nature, that I decided to take up weightlifting. In 2011, I became vegan following a health diagnosis, so I became vegan for health reasons. And it was shortly after that that I decided I wanted to compete in a bodybuilding competition. I went to 3 separate coaches. The first 2 that I saw begrudgingly said that they would take me on, but also with the clause that they didn't think that I would be able to get on stage because, after all, I was vegan. The third and final coach I saw, who's my coach today, Shane, didn't even bat an eye when I told him I wanted to compete as a vegan. Shane continues to be my coach, and he continues to support me to this day, regardless of whether or not I'm competing. Before I end, I want to leave you with an idea. To push past your limits, push stereotypes, push what you are told is impossible, push the possibilities. Find your passion and do what you love, regardless of what anyone tells you. Surround yourself with people who can tell you that you can do it. Lift each other up. Muhammad Ali once said, "Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power that they have to change it." Impossible is not a fact. It's an opinion. It's not a declaration. It is a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing. When you leave here today, I want you to let go of all of your fears. Remember, when you think that you cannot, tell yourself that you can. Don't buy into the stereotypes. Don't listen to the naysayers. If you hear them, let them fuel your fire. And know that with a little hard work, we can do hard things. Thank you.